Fortnite just launched their new season Showdown, and the community is split right now. Some people think it's terrible, and others, well, they think that everybody else is just complaining way too much. So, what's actually true? After spending hours on end watching pro scrims on both EU and NA and grinding ranked myself, I've got a pretty clear idea of what's going on. I'm going to break down what's not working and how you can actually do good in this season. First, let's talk about the biggest talking point this season, which is the mobility. This is where most of the frustration is coming from, and to be fair, the movement is not the greatest. This is what Ted Timmons and other employees from Epic and everybody's been hyping up because we've been told that there's going to be some crazy new good mobility, and the community is completely split with it new. This season, I believe that the movement is way weaker than it used to be, and looking at all of these new items, not all of them are good to be used. Like, for example, the zipline launcher. It's pretty good if you're just going to do some regular battle royale or maybe some ranked, but in competitive, it's quite the opposite actually, because you're barely going to see any pros picking this up, because if they use it, they're just going to get beamed immediately, and they do not want to die, so pros will not be picking this up. And I'm not saying that this movement is bad. I'm just saying that it sounds really cool in theory, but in actual fights, it just won't hold up. You're just an easy target. It's fine for just getting around in the early game, but once fights start actually happening, it starts losing all of its value, and it's pretty much useless. Now, the shockwave grenades are a different story. A lot of players think that they're bad, but really they're just being used wrong. Instead of trying to launch across the map like the old shockwaves, the best players are using them for the boost they give. They activate the effect while boxed up because it won't shoot them immediately out of their box. And they use the speed and reload advantage to rotate safely. If you try to use them aggressively, you're probably going to get eliminated, so the key takeaway here is simple. Use them for the effect, not the launch, because the launch will not take you far, but the effect does give a faster reload, faster movement, and a higher jump speed. A little bit like the Banana of the Gods from the Myths and Mortals season, but just with a little boost. Now let's talk about the weapons. The Chaos Shotgun is easily the most talked about gun right now. It does massive body damage, which makes it very good. You don't need to aim perfect to get big damage, and that's why so many players are using it. It does super high damage, although it only has one shot, and it has an even better headshot, which is why all of the pros are using this right now. For most players, it's the best option. Unless you have really strong mechanics, it's just more consistent than the pump. And with how strong the follow-up weapons are, like the Burst SMG, Pistol, and Combat AR, you can finish fights almost instantly after landing one solid shot. Outside of that, the weapon pool is actually in a really good spot overall. Now for the map. The map is one of the stronger parts of the season. There's no single location that completely dominates, which makes things more balanced. Squibbly Shore stands out because it gives unlimited fish while giving you tons of healing, but Wonky Land is just as strong, maybe even better, with easy materials and one of the best rotation options in the game. Another big change is how Storm play works. Since mobility is limited, it's much harder to stay in Storm and rotate late. This forces players to plan better and move earlier, which adds more strategy to the game. So when you put it all together, here's the real answer. Players aren't completely wrong. There are definitely issues, especially with the mobility, but at the same time, the season isn't nearly as bad as people are making it out to be. The weapons are solid, the map is balanced, the gameplay rewards smarter decisions. It just needs one strong mobility update to bring everything together. And if that happens, this season could go from average to one of the best. Now I'm going to talk about how the first FNCS went for the season. On EU, we had Vico and Malabuco come out in first place with 345 points. They got a third place, 9 elim 3rd, a 6 elim 7th, a 1 elim 29th, an 8 elim win, a 4 elim 11th, and a 3 elim 8th. In second, we have Sky and Scroll, where they got a 7 elim 1st, a 4 elim 5th, a 10 elim 2nd, a 1 elim 27th, a 1 elim 14th, and a 1 elim 12th. A little bit down below is one of our most dominant teams of the season, Shark and Teeny, on 293 points. They got a 9 elim 3rd, a 6 elim 7th, a 1 elim 29th, an 8 elim win, a 4 elim 11th, and a 3 elim 8th. This is not a bad leaderboard. I feel like we got to see a bunch of the best teams do good. We got Focus and Thomas in 7th, Swizzy and Pixie in 5th, Chap and Flixie in 4th, Vico and Malabuka winning it all. It was amazing watching all of these people play because they all did amazing. And I think most pros are really adapting to the new meta. A little bit lower down, we got teams like Pink and Heriz on 22nd with 132 points, and Mr. Savage and Velo on 122 points, getting 24th. On NA, we have Peterbot and Poyo winning it, getting first place with 322 points. They got a 6 elim win, a 0 elim 17th, an 11 elim 2nd, a 4 elim 1st, a 3 elim 15th, and a 0 elim 31st. They were doing pretty well. They were dominating this entire tournament. In second place, we have Cold and Rapid with a 0 elim 31st, a 3 elim 10th, a 10 elim 3rd, a 1 elim 28th, a 5 elim win, and a 7 elim 4th. They were doing, on their first 2 games, they weren't doing as well. But they really started to pick it up in the later games, and that's why they did super well. And third, we had Scare and OSID on 284 points. They got a 1 elim 17th, a 4 elim 6th, a 1 elim 26th, a 3 elim 2nd, a 7 elim 4th, and a 6 elim 9th. And a very close 4th place, down by 2 points, is Josh and Iamzo. They had 282 points. They were super dominant the entire time. They kept a consistent 4th place. They got 4th place, 4th place, 5th, 9th, 5th, and 47th. They were super consistent the entire time, but just in their last game, they died off spawn, unfortunately. But for all of the Clix fans, Clix finished in 15th place on 181 points, and they did end up grabbing a 6 elim win on the second game. I feel like all of the teams did really well, and they're really adapting, and it was really fun to watch and see what they do with the new meta, and how they figured it out, and how they use all of the new transportation, what weapons they use, and I feel like this really shows, this can tell people what they should use, how they should use it if they're using it wrong, because obviously whenever you're playing with pros, they'll figure out how to use things in other ways people won't, and they'll share it, and now everybody knows. So yeah, I feel like this was a really great FNCS to start off the season. Lots of pros are adapting to the meta really quickly, but as more pros adapt, I feel like this will be a very exciting season where we get to see very exciting moments, different pros keying each other and seeing what people do.